My family genuinely thought that them planning a family vacation without me and then showing me screenshots about how they forgot to invite me would make me feel better, and after I finally stood up for myself, everyone started listing reasons they shouldn't be sorry for such a minor accident. My brain is spinning in the way that only narcissists can make it spin. For some context, I had just been patting myself on the back for surviving another combined Mother's Day/my birthday, 37, get-together with my parents. Where for the third year in a row, the only mention of my birthday was after we cut a cake. My mother says, "Oh, we forgot to sing." No card, no one even says the words happy birthday. Every Memorial Day, my parents, my sister's family and my family go on vacation together. Last year, we didn't for obvious reasons, and this year seemed to be heading in the same direction. It was never even brought up. Until yesterday. I get a text from my sister saying they had been planning it for 6 to 8 months, just in case it was safe, and forgot to mention it to me. The trip, a 5-day vacation, 8 days from now. Can you make it? Obviously, I said no, and that was it. I left it alone. Then my mother texted me and said, "I wanted you to see this. It's a good feeling and I don't want you to feel like it was planned." This text was followed by many screen grabs of her and my sister laughing that they forgot to invite me. I think it was supposed to make me feel better? At no point has anyone said, "I'm so sorry we forgot to invite you." My family are firm believers that if you didn't do something on purpose, there is no need to be sorry. I responded to my mother and said, "Well, I'm glad everyone got a good laugh out of it." To which she responded, "I'll let that one roll, I should have known better." That response was enough to send me over the edge and group text them to say, "I can't believe no one thought this would hurt my feelings." I fought myself so hard on responding, and I should have trusted my gut, because it's always an explosion when you say my feelings are hurt in my family. And since then I have been drowning in a list of reasons that no one needs to be sorry, how it was just an accident. For every time they say no one did this on purpose, I respond again, "I don't care how it happened, I know it wasn't on purpose, I care that no one thought this would hurt my feelings or even try to understand how it would be hurtful." When I called out my sister and told her that listing reasons I shouldn't feel bad and then apologizing is not helpful, she responded by saying, "Fine, I'll rearrange it." She then said, "I'm sorry you found this hurtful," and then copy and pasted the reasons again I shouldn't be hurt. I keep asking how in 6 months of planning, no one wondered out loud if I could make it? How my presence didn't come up in one conversation. This was the last response I received from my mother before blocking both of them. "You honestly believe that this trip was planned and you weren't invited? That's what you think of me? Dad? That we would intentionally hide it from you, or that sister had an agenda and I went along with it? Shame on you for thinking like that. There's no remorse needed. It was a genuine mix-up. No one is out to get you. Jesus Christ. How old were you this year? Haven't we always been there for you every time you needed us? And yet we would go behind your back and do this. You better take a little time and think about what I'm saying. You're done and so am I. No matter how many times I say, no one is out to get me, I know it wasn't on purpose, they won't hear me. I'm slamming my head against a brick wall, and I have no idea what to do. I honestly want to cut contact with both of them, but I literally moved across the country to be close to them and my niece again. And losing contact with my niece is what really hurts. Edit. I forgot to include the part where a week ago my mom asked me if I wouldn't mind being an emergency contact for her dogs whenever they board their dogs. I got confused because I live an hour away and my sister lives 1 mile away. And I said, wouldn't it be easier to use sister? My mom got awkward and said she just wanted extra backup. This was also addressed in the screen grabs. That was the moment my mom figured out I wasn't invited and didn't know it. It turns out when she asked me, she was specifically talking about this up north trip, thinking I wasn't going intentionally. And still didn't say anything to me or my sister. Like snotty teenagers that didn't want me at a party. Update 1. 3 months later. Some of you might remember the fallout. My family planned a vacation and forgot to invite me, which resulted in my mother shaming me for having hurt feelings. I've repaired things with my dad and sister. But my mother is a raging narcissist. I have to decide what I'm willing to take. I wasn't ready to go no contact, so I was trying to manifest a very low contact relationship. I was still able to chat with my sister and my dad. And had one phone conversation with my mom and dad about a month ago that was neutral and easy. In her first attempt at contact since our fight, my mother has emailed me, giving me a list of options for me to take over student loan payments. 20 years later. When I was a senior in high school, my parents told me they would pay for my education. About 2 years in, they couldn't take out any more loans, and I took over getting my own financial aid. I covered 70% of my education. She has been deferring and accruing interest on the loans for 20 years. And maybe even refinanced them? As she mentioned, they are still accruing interest, which leads me to believe they do not fall under the umbrella of the student loan pause. The loans she wants me to take over are in her name completely. These are her exact words: "This is what we thought would be fair. Pay part of it off, and we will call it even. Take over the payments of $308 now and increases. Pay the interest, or you can choose to do nothing. No loan terms, no end date, no exact amount." My inner child is screaming for me to pay them off so I can still be close with my mommy. My adult self is telling me she can't ring the bell, and even if I pay her, our relationship will never be the same. My therapy self is telling me that my mother is punishing me for standing up for myself and is quantifying how bad I want a relationship with her in actual dollars. Help. Update 2. I responded. I was starting to feel sick over anticipating responding, so I just pulled the band-aid off. Starting to feel better already? I responded with this: "Hi. Yes, I remember you bringing them up several times, because I knew they were not all mine. But I had no way to defend myself. I don't have access to loans that aren't mine. As you told me you would pay for my education, I thought you were venting. I didn't realize you were hinting at the fact that you changed your mind. I am currently paying off much more than what you've listed here, so I think it is fair and even to keep things as they are. I've had no control or oversight over this debt for the last 20 years, so I don't think me stepping in now is wise. But I won't do nothing. I will continue to pay off the lion's share of my student loans as I have been. It's hard to tell from the screen grabs of sister's loans and the tweets, but it looks like I'm covering at about 70% already." Update 3. Another 3 months later, my mother called me on Monday to let me know my sister with cerebral palsy is in the hospital. She assured me that everything was fine. My sister just needed some help because she has the flu and everything is more complicated by cerebral palsy. My father called me on Tuesday morning from the hospital, so I could talk to my sister. She communicates through squeals and a very expressive face. Again, my dad assured me that everything was fine and that they were hoping to take her home that day. Tuesday night, my mother calls to give me another update and tell me that she did not in fact come home from the hospital but is still improving. They just want to keep her one more day. And then she finishes the call with, "Can you come sit with her for a while?" My mother and father both have the flu as well, and I live 90 miles away. They had to wait 24 hours just to get her in a room because the hospital is so overfilled with flu and COVID patients. My sane brain is telling me not to go to the place with all the sick people. But my fogged up brain is saying, how dare you not go visit your sister when she's in the hospital? For some backstory, my husband and I decided to travel for Christmas this year instead of a painful family holiday, which I told my mother twice and she's forgotten twice and still tries to tell me about times and plans for Christmas. My gut is telling me this is a reaction to that. But I'm still working on fixing my intuition after a lifetime of manipulation. Am I right in thinking I shouldn't go down there, or am I being selfish? Commenter: nothing says family bonding like forgetting you exist for half a year and then blaming you for noticing.